This is the Scorecard, where you score the latest sports news and in-depth views. I'm Anton Roxas. On the Scorecard tonight, Gilas boys crush Malaysia to advance to SEABA U16 finals. Davao dominates Western Visayas to clinch first Palarong Pambansa High School Hoops title. 6 share U.S. Women's Open lead. Saso, Maliksi, Ardina struggle in windy opener. Sinner crushes Gasquet at Roland Garros, ends Frenchman's storied career. In Major League Baseball, Caminero leads Rays to 13-3 rout of the Astros. Liberty improved to 5-0 with 82-77 win over Valkyries behind Brianna Stewart's 27 points. Brunson, Towns keep Knicks alive in Pacers rout 111-94. And join us as we catch up with one of the country's greatest boxing icons, Gerry "Fearless" Peñalosa. All the headlines and more on the Scorecard tonight, the 30th of May. Now, here's our roundup. Gilas Filipinas boys punched their ticket to the SEABA U16 finals in style, dominating Malaysia 96-61 at the Brenzi Giao Sports Complex in Pampanga. Still unbeaten in 5 games, the Philippines continued to flex their might, having already booked a spot in the Continental Tournament. Travis Pascual and Jeremiah Antolin Jr. delivered identical 15-point performances, with Pascual adding 5 assists and 4 rebounds, while Antolin contributed 4 boards in just over 17 minutes. Gilas burst out of the gates, building a 28-12 lead to end the first quarter thanks to a 6-0 closing run. They kept their foot on the gas in the second period, outscoring Malaysia 27-17 to head into halftime with a commanding 55-29 edge. The second half was more of the same, with Gilas leading by as many as 39 points, 96-57, following a putback by Mark Jello Lumagub late in the game. Everrain Cruz added 14 points off the bench, while Prince Carino tallied 13. Lumagub and Luisito Joel Pascual each chipped in 10. Cameron Tan put up 16 points, 7 rebounds, and 3 assists for Malaysia, with Fat Cam Singh chipping in 10. Davao finally broke through, pulling away in the second half to defeat Western Visayas 67-51 and secured their first Palarong Pambansa High School basketball crown at the Ilocos Norte Centennial Arena. The landmark win gave Davao its first gold in the boys division, marking a milestone for the region. John Mark Pellegrino and Rene Clert Baterbonia powered the offense, scoring 19 points each in a well-rounded attack. After taking an early lead, Davao weathered a second quarter surge from Western Visayas, who rallied behind Luke Rose's hot shooting to cut the gap to 27-24 at halftime. But the second half belonged to Davao, as Baterbonia ignited a 14-3 run in the third to give them a comfortable cushion. Pellegrino closed it out in style, scoring most of Davao's final points to put the game out of reach. The win completed a perfect run for Davao, who swept the elimination round, then topped Northern Mindanao and Central Luzon in the knockout stages. Coach Jess Evangelio and his players credited their hard work, sacrifice, and faith for the breakthrough win. The 2025 U.S. Open or Women's Open teed off with surprises and a jam-packed leaderboard, as 6 players, including American Angel Yin, posted 4 under-68s at Windy Erin Hills in Wisconsin. Yin drained a birdie on 18 to catch Korea's A. Lim Kim and Jin Hee Im, Japan's Ryo Takeda, Spain's Julia Lopez Ramirez, and fellow American Yelimi No at the top of the $12 million major. The leaders took different paths. Some started hot, others rallied late, but all managed to tame the gutsy conditions on a tough course that demanded shot-making and patience. They hold a one-shot edge over a strong chasing group that includes Chisato Iwai, Yumin Wang, Yui Kawamoto, Kiara Tamburlini, and Nasa Hataoka, all at 69. Defending champ Yuka Saso fired a 2 over 74 after a mix of birdies and bogeys, still within reach of the cut. Her irons were sharp, but putting proved costly. Fellow Filipina Rian Maliksi opened strong but slipped to 79. Her round unraveled after a double on 15 followed by 3 straight bogeys. Doti Ardina struggled all day and finished with an 81. She never found momentum after an early double on the front 9. With the leaderboard wide open, round 2 promises plenty of action and a chance for comebacks. Jannik Sinner sent Richard Gasquet into retirement in style, rolling to a straight sets win Thursday at Roland Garros. World number 1 Sinner needed less than 2 hours to dismantle the 38-year-old Gasquet, playing his 22nd and final French Open 6-3, 6-0, 6-4. Novak Djokovic also kept his record bid alive while Coco Gauff and Mira Andreeva advanced in the women's draw. The Italian star, fresh off his return from a doping ban in May, looked sharp throughout. He saved 3 breakpoints early, then cruised to victory on court Felipe Chatrier. Sinner thanked the crowd and congratulated Gasquet. He now faces Gerry Peñalosa in round 3. In Major League Baseball, Junior Caminero had a career-high 6 RBIs, including a 3-run opposite-field homer to seal a 5-run 7th inning as the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Houston Astros 13-3. The Rays improved to 8-1 in their last 9 games, while the Astros fell to 72 at home over their last 9. Reliever Brian King, who had allowed only 4 earned runs all season, was tagged for 5 runs on 5 hits. Caminero also added a 2-run double in the 8th inning. Yandy Diaz, Jonathan Aranda, and Jose Caballero each had 2 hits for Tampa Bay. Edwin Uceta picked up the win while King took the loss. For Houston, Yainer Diaz and Jose Altuve both homered off Rays starter Shane Baz, who allowed 3 runs on 7 hits over 5 2/3 innings. The Rays scored 5 runs in the 7th and 8th innings to blow the game open after a tight early battle. Tampa Bay's offense was supported by strong defensive play, keeping the Astros from mounting a comeback. Moving on to the WNBA, the New York Liberty improved to 5-0, matching the Minnesota Knicks for best record in the WNBA with an 82-77 win over the Golden State Valkyries. Breanna Stewart led the way with 27 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and 3 blocks, hitting 15 of 19 free throws. Sabrina Ionescu added 24 points, including 6 three-pointers. The game was tight throughout. Liberty led 20-18 after the first quarter, and it was tied 37-37 at halftime. New York held a 57-55 lead going into the fourth quarter and extended it to 6 early on, but couldn't pull away. With 4 minutes left, Golden State took a 72-71 lead, and the teams traded leads 5 times before the Liberty took the final lead on 2 Stewart free throws at 78-77. After a Valkyries 5-second inbound violation, Natasha Cloud scored a layup and hit 2 free throws to seal the 82-77 win. Janelle Salaun led Golden State with 18 points and 13 rebounds. The Valkyries fall to 2-3 in their inaugural season. Next up, Liberty visit the Washington Mystics on Friday, while Valkyries rest before hosting the Lynx on Sunday. Meanwhile, in the NBA, Jalen Brunson and Karl-Anthony Towns combined for 56 points as the New York Knicks held on for a 111-94 win over the Indiana Pacers. Trailing 3-1 in the Eastern Conference Finals, the Knicks roared back in front of a star-studded Madison Square Garden crowd, setting up a Game 6 in Indianapolis on Saturday. Brunson led the way with 32 points, including 4 3-pointers, while Towns, returning from a knee injury, added 24 points and 13 rebounds. The Knicks rushed to an early lead, holding the Pacers to just 45 points at halftime and limiting star Tyrese Halliburton to 8 points. Indiana threatened a comeback in the third quarter, but New York pulled away to close out the win. This was the first time the Pacers scored under 100 points this season, forcing them to a must-win game on Saturday to avoid a Game 7 in New York. And here's your daily dose of sports lingo. In Kendo, what is the meaning of the term Chuki? And what makes it a unique and challenging strike? Chuki is the thrust or stab directed at the opponent's throat using the tip of the shinai or the bamboo sword. Unlike the more common strikes to the head, wrist, or torso, Chuki requires precise control, timing, and accuracy because it targets a small and vulnerable area. It is considered a highly technical move and is often seen as a demonstration of a kendoka skill and confidence. Mastering the Chuki is like threading a needle with your sword, a true mark of a kendoka's finesse and courage. It's time for our off-court buzzer. It started with a dunk that blew up online. Now, Andre Ugadan has Gilas youth coach L.A. Tenorio doing a double take. The 18-year-old caught fire on social media after soaring in for a free throw line jam for Calabarzon in the Palarong Pambansa. And it didn't take long before Tenorio got tagged in the clip. Ugadan, who suits up for San Beda, hasn't joined national team tryouts yet, but Tenorio, in an interview, says he's open to taking a look. Tenorio praised Ugadan's athleticism but stressed that making the team requires more than highlights. Tenorio underscored the importance of in-game impact and a player's ability to fit into the national team system. Tenorio, who also played for San Beda, said that he's keeping the door open for the 6'2" Red Cub and that if he's really ready, Ugadan will get a call. Well, this is definitely something to watch out for. Now also making a buzz is Magnus Carlsen, who just found out what it's like to trash talk in the wrong neighborhood. The chess grandmaster and former world #1 dropped a bombshell at Norway Chess 2025, calling Formula 1 the most boring sport imaginable, adding that you just drive around in a circle for a long time. But F1 fans, never known for taking insults quietly, fired back hard on threads with one commenter deadpanning, "Bro, you playing chess?" Another said, "Chess is more boring." While a third simply asked, "Without knowledge?" Carlsen added that people watch F1 because personalities and marketing, which, let's be honest, is true for a lot of sports. But calling a grid of 20 of the world's most dangerous drivers boring from a chessboard? That's kind of like a hard sell. Meanwhile, F1 is busy stacking billion-dollar race weekends and selling out streets from Vegas to Singapore. Sure, Monaco 2025 wasn't a banger. Even Martin Brundle said the two-stop experiment failed. But this sport isn't just surging, it's strategic mayhem at 200 miles per hour. Look, Magnus is a genius. He's just picked a weird hill to die on. And as the internet quickly reminded him, when it comes to entertainment value, the back and forth between Verstappen, Hamilton, and Norris is a lot louder than silent moves on a checkered board. Your move, Chess King. That's a roundup for tonight, the 30th of May. When we return, join us as we catch up with one of the country's greatest boxing icons, Gerry Fearless Peñalosa. When we return, right here on The Scorecard. Welcome back to the Scorecard. He is arguably one of the most cerebral fighters in the world, a lethal strategist in the ring with a tactical potency that have sent fighters crashing down the canvas. Now busy working behind the boxing ring, let's catch up with Filipino boxing icon Gerry "Fearless" Peñalosa and also get to know some of his bold predictions. Sir Gerry, the legend, maraming salamat po.
Good evening. Isang malaking karangalan.
Hindi.
Dito sa Bilyonaryo Sports Channel.
Ayan. Isang malaking karangalan po ito sa amin dahil minsan lang pumunta sa studio ang isang two-division world champion. Nag-champion po kayo, WBC, Super Flyweight at WBO Bantamweight noong time nyo. Pero Sir Gerry, it's been 15 years since your last professional fight. Tama po ba? 2010 po yung huli niyong laban, no?
Tagal na pala. Tanda na ako.
Hindi, pero alam nyo, nung una po kayo nakita, kasi syempre, I'll forever remember your days as a boxer. Pero ngayon, yung vibe nyo, para kayong si Rocky Balboa, parang Sylvester Stallone. Di ba? Pogi pa rin eh. Di ba? Pagkatapos ng karir.
Medyo nagina ng kunti. Pero okay pa rin.
Okay. Sir, ano po ba ang pinagkakaabalahan natin lately? Kamusta naman ang naging buhay these past 15 years? Pagkatapos ng career nyo, yes.
Of course, fruits ng paghihirap, pagsisikap. So, in-enjoy ko yung time as retired boxer with my family. So, yun, mostly, yun ang mga gawain ngayon.
Okay. Meron po ba kayong mga negosyo, business? Nagpo-promote po ba kayo ng mga laban? Ano po ba yung focus nyo ngayon?
Of course, siyempre, kailangan natin magkumayod para sa pamilya. And then, pag may time ako, lalo na pag may makita akong mga future na boxing hero natin na needs ng mga tulungan, of course, nandun ako.
Okay. So, yun po talaga yung focus nyo. As in, kumbaga, pagkatapos ng boxing career, hindi pa rin natatapos yung pagtulong sa kapwa and of course, push the next generation forward.
Nandun pa rin sa boxing, not as a boxer.
Not as a boxer. Iba naman.
Minsan, kung kailangan na i-promote, siyempre na hanapan natin ng paraan na ma-build up natin yung sino mo yung promising boxer. So, of course, as boxing fan, aficionados, nandun tayo palagi.
Sir Gerry, nakikita po natin yung mga pictures nyo. Ayan, si Chavit Singson, Freddie Roach. What are your most fondest memories? Siyempre, magsimula tayo kay Freddie Roach. Grabe, 62 years old. Hanggang ngayon. Ando doon pa rin, nagte-training pa rin. Ine-ensayo pa rin, tinuturuan yung mga boxers. Pati kaibigan mo, Manny Pacquiao, bumalik na rin. Ano yung mga fondest memories mo na kasama si the legendary Freddie Roach?
Of course, it's an honor with Freddie. Freddie is isang napakagaling na trainer, mabait, in and out sa ring. So, mapagkatiwalaan. So, I like Freddie.
Okay.
So, hopefully, with Manny Pacquiao, July 19, mananalo tayo.
Yon, actually, I was saving that question kasi alam ko marami nagtatanong sa'yo about yung fearless forecast mo at yung analysis mo sa darating na laban ni Manny Pacquiao. Pero bago yun, kayo po muna because it's been a while and we want to catch up with you. Alam niyo po, nung binabasa ko yung Wikipedia page mo, ang dami mo achievements, lahat ng mga nagawa mo as a boxer. Pero merong isang bagay doon na sabi ko, teka, nangyari ba talaga to?
Interesting ha?
Jorge Arce.
Oh, wow.
Naalala niyo po ba? Jorge Arce. yung flamboyant na Mexican boxer. Totoo po ba na nung nanood kayo ng rematch ni Manny Pacquiao at Marco Antonio Barrera, muntik na kayong magkasuntukan ni Jorge Arce. Totoo ba yun?
Tama.
Ano ba ang kwento doon? Ano ba ang kwento doon, sir?
I think on the way sa loob ng arena, may fight si Manny.
Yes.
And then, parang accidentally lang na nag-class kami doon. And then, I think right after nanalo ako ng champion ako.
Yes.
At we have the same weight.
Okay.
So, gi-challenge niya kagad ako. Sabi niya, nandiyan yung, inside sabi ko, angas mo talaga. And then, second time, hey, listen to me.
Oh, ginanon ka?
Oo.
Wow!
So, sabi ko lang, you're nothing. And then, yun nga, parang nag-provoke siya ng ng fight. Sabi ko naman, okay. Gusto ko yan. But not dito. Dapat sa taas ng ring.
Yes.
Then, see, sign the contract. Why not? I love that.
Tama po ba? Kasi top rank dati si Jorge Arce. So bakit hindi natuloy yung laban nyo after? Kasi alam mo yun, di ba? Parang may hype na yun eh. Muntik na kayong magkasuntukan. Tapos why not settle it inside the ring? Bakit hindi natuloy yung laban na yun?
Hindi ganun kadali. Kasi first of all, I'm from Golden Boy Promotion.
Ayun.
And then top rank siya. So,
Okay.
since magkaiba yung promotion, may kanya-kanyang schedule. So, parang amin natin business eh.
Yes.
So, may kanya-kanyang interest. So, from almost, sayang nga eh.
Ako, gusto ko mapanood sana yon if ever nangyari. Kasi Jorge Arce is also a boxer that I was following. May show ako dati na Top Rank Boxing yung feature namin. And Jorge Arce was one of the up-and-coming fighters and champions during that time. Sayang. Anyway, para sa'yo, sa lahat ng mga na-achieve mo, champ, throughout your career, what was the one moment na hindi mo makakalimutan na masasabi mong itong moment na to, paborito ko to sa buong boxing career mo?
I think when I fought against Gonzales. Isang napakahirap and then behind tayo ng points. And then parang yun nga, masyado tayong nagulpi muna. And then nakabawi tayo. So hindi ko makalimutan. Kasi ano yun, at that time medyo hindi ko na prime. And then since talagang gusto ko talaga mag-champion ulit. So grabing sikap ko before that sa gym. Lahat-lahat ginawa ko. Talagang disiplina. Kasi gusto ko mag-champion ulit. Parang sobrang challenge. And then siyempre gusto ko another division na mag-champion. Ito nangyari. So, wow! Ang galing ko. With the support sa mga Pilipino. So, sobra.
Naalala niyo po ba kung anong edad niyo nung time na yon? That comeback fight?
I think like 34 years old.
34?
34, turning
Okay,
35.
34.
Yeah.
Okay. Manny Pacquiao is now 46. Tapos, it's good na sinabi niyo po yan. Because coming from your comeback, Manny Pacquiao naman, nagulat ang buong mundo na inanunsyo niya, he's coming back and going for a title right away. Lalabanan niya si Mario Barrios na kasalukuyang WBC welterweight champion, 147 pounds. In-interview na po kayo at sinabi niyo, kaya manalo ni Manny Pacquiao. Ano po yung analysis niyo sa laban na yon?
Like what I said before, assuming na yung top chip si Manny, baga mentally at saka physically, ang laki ng chance na manalo through his experience and sa bilis.
Yes.
So since lamang siya compared to Barrios, of all the champion kasi ngayon, Barrios is the weakest.
Okay. So strategic rin yung pagpili ni Manny sa kanya.
I believe so. Okay. So, yun nga, as long na 100% siya, with his speed and experience, kaya niyang paglaruan. I'm hoping and praying na masustain niya from beginning hanggang matapos ang rounds. So, we'll see. But, alam mo si Manny, may lakas eh. At willing mo engage. Kung siyang tumama, mauna siya. Talagang good night.
So, ang prediction niyo po, kailangan ma-knockout ni Manny nung maaga? Because you also said na kailangan mag-training ni Manny na in the sense na baka umabot din ng 12 rounds yan. So para sa'yo, ano yung nakikita mong mangyayari? Early knockout ba or could it go the distance?
I think, knowing Manny, talagang sa start pa lang, magipagsabayan na eh. And then once tumama yung favorite niya na street, nako, mukhang magpaglagyan si Barrios. If ever naman, let's see last ng halfway to schedule for 12 rounds, at least ready siya. I mean, yung stamina, yung legs.
Yes.
Kasi alam naman natin, hindi siya compared to Barrios. Mas hungry yung Barrios Mas bata.
Tsaka Manny Pacquiao yung kalaban. Siyempre, once in a lifetime
Of
opportunity yan
course.
para kay Barrios.
Yes. So, siyempre, ambisyon niya yun.
Yes.
Na talunin yung legend. Ano yung pagkakataon niya yun?
Correct.
I mean, like, parang stepping stone.
Yes.
So, yun nga, pero Manny kasi, alam naman natin na palaban talaga.
Yeah.
Worth panoorin Kaya alam natin, kaya hanggang ngayon, yung mga tao, hindi lang dito sa Pilipinas, buong mundo, gusto siyang makita. Kung ano ba yung meron pa rin ba?
Akala ko tapos na yung panahon na tuwing lumalaban si Manny, tumitigil ang buong mundo. Walang traffic sa Pilipinas, di ba? Pero we have one more chance na ma-experience yan. Who knows? Maybe 2 or 3 or 4 more times. Di natin alam kung mas straight ni Manny yan. Di ba? Okay, for my last question, Champ Gerry, ako para sa akin, ang isa sa mga pinakamagandang bagay na nangyari dito with Manny coming back is may experience niya for the first time na nag-e-ensayo siya at kasama niya yung kanyang anak na si Jimwell. Napakaganda tignan na magkasabay silang nagsi-sit-ups, nagte-training. Kayo po, ano po masasabi niyo na seeing father and son? First time, akala natin nagawa na ni Manny lahat. Ngayon, father and son training at the same time.
Bihirang pagkakataon. So, yun. I think, parang turnover. Let's say, I'm done, almost done, and then you're next. It's time for you to show.
Ganda.
So, knowing the Pacquiaos, parang grabe yung puso. So, talagang, abangan natin yon. Talagang magandang laban yon.
Okay. Sir Gerry, bago tayo magtapos, baka meron kang mensahe sa lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon.
Of course, sa lahat ng mga boxing fans, I hope patuloy niyong suportahan. Not only boxing, but inter-sports ng Pilipinas. And sa laban ni Senator Manny, sana wag niyong kalimutan na isama sa mga dasal na safe sila pareho ng kalaban niya. Yan ang importante. May the best man win, of course, sana si Manny.
Yes.
So, but whatever ano yung resulta, as long na safe, panalo na yun.
Ako, gusto ko, pagdadasal ko yung early straight in the early rounds. Yan. Champ, maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Diversion, world champion, Gerry Fearless Peñalosa. Isang karangalan, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you sa Bilyonaryo Sports Channel.
Up next, two teams on a collision course. Brunson won't back down, but Halliburton's heard the noise. Back in Indiana, the Pacers look to finish the job, or will the Knicks push it to the edge? One game, everything at stake, so you can keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome back to the Scorecard. It's time to keep your eyes on the prize. Welcome to another high-stakes rewind. Comeback chapter. Let's check it out. MSG turned into a playoff furnace, and the Knicks, man, they just dropped a Game 5 performance that felt like a defibrillator for their season. So let's talk about it. Now, we've seen Jalen Brunson go nuclear before, but earlier this morning, that was vintage. 32 points, woo! Fearless drives, drawing contact like he was auditioning for a Spike Lee joint. He set the tone early, 14 in the first quarter, and from there, the Knicks, they never looked back. And then, there is Karl-Anthony Towns. Dude had a bruised knee, probably wrapped in ice the size of a Thanksgiving turkey. But still, he balled, 24 and 13, battling in the paint, showing off that soft touch in the mid-range. It was like he finally remembered he's a 4-time All-Star. So ano nagbago? Let's be honest. The Knicks didn't just outscore Indiana. They out-toughed them, out-rebounded, out-defended. They locked up the Pacers' space and space system and turned it into whatever the opposite of showtime is. Tyrese Halliburton. What the Hally? Looked like Magic Johnson meets AI in Game 4. Suddenly morphed into a guy trying to find Cignal inside the Garden. Passive, quiet, and just off. Rick Carlisle's team shot 40% from the field, 20 turnovers, bench outscored the starters, and not one starter cracked 20 points. Ano yun? That's not playoff resilience, that's playoff regression. But let's not pretend this was all Indy's fault. The Knicks brought it. Mitchell Robinson owned the rim. Quentin Grimes all hustle. Josh Hart, you already know the heart that he brings. And here's the stat that should terrify Indiana. The Pacers are 0-4 this postseason when scoring under 110 points per 100 possessions. They're 11-0 when they don't. So what does that tell you? Game 5 wasn't a one-off. Might be a blueprint. Now, don't get it twisted. The Pacers are 3-2. They're going back to Indiana. They haven't lost back-to-back games since March. But that Garden energy, it traveled. And the Knicks found something defensively, something that might just drag this thing to a Game 7. Woo! The best 2 words in sports, baby. Game 7. Now stay ahead of the game as the battle for the playoffs heats up with high-stakes contests. And here's your odds breakdown for Sunday's matchup. That wraps up tonight's preview so you can keep your eyes on the prize. Before we go, think on this. From a 5-time NBA champion and 3-time league MVP who redefined the point guard position with his size vision, Magic Johnson once said, "Ask not what your teammates can do for you, ask what you can do for your teammates." And with that, thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week on The Scorecard, where sports is our business and business is our sport on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. This has been Anton Roxas. Have a blessed weekend, everybody. Good night.